Hey there, it's Kelly Day coming to you live today from my art studio to talk about how to make a big painting. And I want to encourage you before we get going to post your comments, your questions, because I am going to go ahead and answer any questions here when we're done chatting. So, a lot of people ask me how to do a big painting. Maybe you're wondering, how do you get the ideas from your head onto a big canvas? It can be really intimidating. Or maybe you're doing little wonderful watercolors or sketches and you're not sure how to get those onto a big canvas. So I really recommend that you find what works for you. First of all, there are a lot of different ways to approach a big painting, and some people love to do it intuitively, where they just show up and paint what happens and what appears on the canvas, like a lot of abstract painters. Some people like to do it very logically. They like to show up, they like to plan their painting. Some people even like to take that to an extreme, like realistic painters will sometimes project an image onto a canvas and trace that, or they'll do a grid and fill out the grid. Now that would just make me pull my hair out and quit painting. Um, so you have to find what works for you is the first thing, okay? If you for people who just do intuitive painting and they just show up and paint what appears on the canvas, that wouldn't work for me either because I would feel a little lost. I would feel like that just isn't as exciting for me. Oh, and so what I want to share with you today is that when I do a big live painting, I like to combine the two. So I have a process where I combine research and planning, not boring research like in college, but fun, exciting research for color and design and things that get me super excited, and then combine that with intuitive paintings and showing up and letting the magic happen and listening to your intuition. So, in this process that I like to use for big paintings, this is something I've refined over years and years, well over a decade, and I'm actually going to share some of this process with you in my landscape painting course that starts on Friday. So if you want to show up for that, registration is for 2 more days, and you can find that link in my bio. And that process I'll be teaching you over this 3-week landscape painting course can be used for any kind of painting. So today, if you have a question, post a question. I would love to answer any questions you have. And, one thing that I do is I was a graphic designer for 20 years, and so I really had to learn how to be creative on the spot. And maybe a lot of you are graphic designers and you know how that is when you have a deadline and you've got to go get a cup of coffee and you've just got to make creativity happen. So, what I love to do is I have certain tools I use to discover color palettes and to combine them in relationships that are very captivating. And then I like to do little research. I like to go out, like for these sandhill cranes, I like to go out and feel the energy of them and experience them, take pictures of them, do sketches of them so that I become really intimate with the subject. And then when I take it to a big canvas, it really conveys that to the viewer. And what we want to do here is we want to move the viewer with emotion. If you're just painting from your head, and thinking about everything, the lighting, the shadow, the shape, then you won't convey the emotion from your heart and your own authentic expression on how to move people with emotional art. Okay, so for example, this painting, I didn't want to just do realistic birds. I wanted to show that incredible spiritual feeling of them moving through the air, and that feeling you get where you just look in the sky and you feel so in awe of what you're looking at. So once I go out and experience the energy, whether it's an aspen forest or a mountain range or birds of what I want to paint, then I come back and I do fun little studies, and I have ways to do quick little studies that's exciting and quick and not boring and not intimidating, just to get an idea of where I am before I go to the canvas. Okay, and then I take that little bit of planning and research of color and design and I'll look for examples of what's working and what's not working. And I always love to talk about Austin Kleon's book. It's called Steal Like an Artist, where you borrow things that speak to you. Like, what color palettes speak to you? What shapes speak to you? Do you like a lot of texture? Do you like a lot of smooth, calm areas? And putting together all of the influences that are part of you into your own unique expression. Okay? And then when I have all that planned out and I know what it feels like and I know the emotion I want to convey to my viewer, then I start to put it all on the canvas in this recipe that combines planning and research and then letting go once I get to the canvas to let the magic happen. And that means letting your intuition come into the picture, starting to listen to those little voices in your head like, try this purple, or maybe a little color, or excuse me, a little piece of paper will appear on your art table, and it's just the perfect thing of exactly what you needed in your painting. Bob Ross calls the happy little accidents. Sometimes those happen, and those are things that are way beyond what your logical thinking mind could create. So when you learn to open to those intuitive, wonderful little magical things that that happen when you're painting and listen to them, then amazing things can happen on your canvas. So if you have a comment or a question, leave it here. I would love to answer it. Or if you want to know more about the landscape painting course that starts this Friday, leave a comment or a question and I would love to answer it. Registration is for 2 more days, and you can find that in the link in my bio. And I would love to see you there. So I hope this helped. Let me know if you found this helpful for you and your process, and I'll look forward to talking with you soon. Okay, bye.